We've all heard it, right? The boss bitch era. The idea that the ultimate form of female empowerment is showing the world how independent we are, how we make our own money, and how we don't need anyone, especially not men, to succeed. But here's the thing. That narrative is not serving us, and it's time to unpack why. I am all for women succeeding in business, crushing goals, and creating wealth. I preach female empowerment from the rooftops. But here's the thing. I'm also a woman who believes that true power, success, and happiness comes from balance, not from pushing aside our femininity or rejecting the idea of partnership and union. This is a wounded masculine energy. It's actually far more powerful when you're in balance. So today, we are talking about why the hypermasculine boss bitch rhetoric is actually hurting us, the importance of embracing both our feminine and our masculine energy, and why women need healthy partnerships and union, not just to succeed, but to exist. What's up, Savages, and welcome back to another episode of the Business Savage Podcast. I am your host, your business and mindset coach, and professional international speaker, Cassandra Britton. I have built multiple businesses to 6 and 7 figures, but it isn't all butterflies and rainbows. So I am here to help you play bigger and unleash the wild, untamed version that lives inside of you. A healthy business begins with a healthy mind, and our businesses will only grow to the extent in which we grow. So I am here to share with you the real talk about being in the 1% and what it takes to play big 360 in business and in life. If you have a sec, please drop us a review. It greatly helps us reach a bigger audience and others who need to hear these messages find us. And of course, hit that bell at the top and subscribe so that you never miss a future episode as they air. Friends, just before we dive into today's episode, I want to share that we have officially booked our retreat center for November 2025, booked in Costa Rica, a private beachfront entire retreat center resort, 22 private stunning villas, and a truly immersive experience. If you are new here, we run business and mindset retreats and events to bring business owners together from all across the globe to learn, to grow, to expand, and to take their businesses to new heights. We also are launching our first VIP retreat, Vision, which is for only 3 business owners who are longing for a high-level experience and a very intimate access to myself, my business brain, and my business partner, Sophia, body worker and energy worker. We have a whole list of retreats and events we have planned for 2025. We're working on exclusive dinner series, live podcasts, and some huge guests and mastermind VIP days in a boardroom style, lots and lots of action. So if you want to ensure that you never miss out on any of these new events and can choose what's going to be best for you, we encourage you to join the priority list via the link that is in our show notes or by going to our website, www.thebusinesssavage.com/retreats. Unleash the wow that lives inside of you and unlock the next level of your business in community and in connection. Hope to meet you guys at an event in 2025. Okay, friends. As a woman with a platform who preaches female empowerment and receives hundreds of DMs daily from women saying that they consider me inspiring, this is a perfect platform to share this, and I feel that God has called me to speak up. So here we go. Some of you may find this triggering, and if so, I challenge you to lean in because I'm super knowledgeable on this topic, and I also used to be the hyper-masculine woman, so I can really share a lot of perspective here. I have to talk about this, because it is taking the internet and the online space by storm, and I'm not 100% sure where or when it even started, but truthfully, it doesn't even matter. What does matter is that this needs to be talked about. So let's start by saying this. As a woman who many consider to be a feminist, although I'm not, I'm just a supporter of women in business and self-respect. As a woman who has spent majority of her life in her masculine energy, as a woman who grew up playing almost every competitive sport that you can imagine, predominantly hockey, but also baseball, football, volleyball, soccer, snowboarding, water sports, and everything in between. And as a woman whose bank account does not need the partnership of a man, but reflects more than most dual households aspire to achieve. As a woman who's incredibly confident, independent, loves herself radically, let me talk about this. There is this trend I have been seeing for a hot minute online of women creating incredibly cringeworthy, hypermasculine energy. I don't need a man. I can do it all by myself. I'll be crushing it all by myself. I'll make my own money type of comments, type of energy, and type of statements. And while I support their ambition and their independence, the intensity of it and the way that we are putting down men or union and partnership, it needs to end. Here's the truth that I have to share about these women. I understand that you've been hurt. I understand that society has conditioned you to believe that you will be praised that you are a boss bitch, but here's what the real boss bitches of the world actually think about this. You are coming from a wounded masculine energy and not allowing your feminine at all to emerge, which is suppressing your genetics and your lineage. Of course you can do it all alone. We all can. If we wanted to, tune out the world, laser focus just on our careers and nothing else in life, we all could, but that's not healthy. That's not balance. That's not purpose. It's definitely not alignment. And that's not what God put you on this planet to do. 99% of women I see crushing it, like actually crushing it, they're at peace and happiness. They're also married and many of them are mothers. Although I'm not yet myself, but I am in a healthy, powerful relationship with a man. I consider these women bosses because they've been able to build powerful businesses while also doing the inner work, finding a partner, creating a life, and building that life together. For any of you in a relationship like I am, we know that it is work. Conscious relationships are more work than the unconscious ones. We don't avoid hard conversations, we have them, even if it's 5 times a day. We do not allow each other to slip, we push each other. We call each other out, even when it's hard, when it's messy, and when it's uncomfortable. Oftentimes, our deepest wounds are each other's biggest triggers. And here's where the boss bitch era is not serving us. This avoidance and this hypermasculine energy is just that. It's avoidance. As a woman whose attachment style was avoidant most of her life, I know how easy it is to just say, he's trying to take my power, and to avoid stonewall, break up, or just leave. We fleet. We run. We turn on our hyper independence because our deepest fear is that we will lose our power, that he will take it from us, and that we would rather die fighting than submit and be powerless. Am I right? How many chords did I just hit? Because that was me. Friends, I grew up with a beautiful mother who was in the army, captain of every sports team, and she gave up her dreams and her career to have 3 beautiful children and marry the man of her dreams. To find herself later an alcoholic who would hide her pain with booze and numb her feelings and bow her head, yes sir, no sir, instead of standing up for herself and reclaiming her power. If there is anyone in this world who understands the desire to fall into a hyper-masculine independence, it's me. It was me for a very long time. You're scared. The little girl inside of you, she's scared. You're scared that you will allow someone truly and deeply into your heart to see the real, raw, vulnerable sides of you, that you will start to build a life from them, and then you will lose your power. I get it. So instead, we fight. We fight for this masculine space. We challenge our partners for a role that traditionally is supposed to actually be his, and in that, we demasculate him in the process. We are making men feel as though they are not needed, and it's creating a lot of insecurity in men, which is an even bigger trigger for us because we want that strong, confident, masculine man. Let's talk about online dating and that swipe fest. How easy is it for you to go online if you're single, swipe for a few hours, likely match with a few studs? We judge them only by their photos without having a clue who they are. We go on a date or 2, and then if they don't check off every single box on your list, we move on, thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, and we swipe for something new. Never giving them a true chance. Men do it back. It's not just one-sided. But the chance of actually finding a true connection with someone this way, it's almost unheard of. Sometimes it's not much better in person. But here's where this changes. Pay close attention to this. This doesn't change from you setting your criteria older, hoping for a more mature man. My man's actually 7 years younger than me. It actually starts with you. It always starts with you. It starts with you taking a look at yourself and becoming every single thing that you are claiming that you are seeking. Create safety within yourself. Create discipline within yourself. Create trust within yourself. Become an incredible communicator. Find the softness and the balance in yourself. Be a loyal partner. Then, and only then, will you stop thinking every single man is just out to steal your power, can't meet you where you're at, and is just wasting your time. Because the partner that you need, so rooted in your own strength that you call that equal partner into your life and have the patience to wait for him, is waiting when you do this work. Y'all have heard of the law of manifestation and the law of attraction, I'm sure. Shoot. When we do this level of work and you become this level of a woman so in balance, your true power actually comes from your feminine energy. It comes from your nurturing, your creativity, and your intuition. That is true power. Not this hypermasculine, not this stubborn, not this armor that you're walking through life with. It's not serving you. You desire a man who can meet you. I get it. I've spent 34 years trying to find a man who could meet me. But falling into your hypermasculine isn't going to help you find it. If anything, it pushes them further away. It makes you end up the old lady with no husband, no kids, and 10 cats. And now, I don't know about you guys, I'm a dog person, but even then, I don't need 10 of them. Whether it be a man or a woman, I don't care what your preference is. The point is, friends, that we are in union and in partnership with another human being that amplifies our impact. For those of you who do not know, I was in a 10-year relationship with a police officer who I thought was the man of my dreams. I gave up everything for him, moved for him, picked up my life for him, and I ended up finding him unfaithful. And I don't say that because I need anyone's sympathy, because it was the exact path that God intended for me, and I have every piece of my own ownership in how that story played out. A path that forged me into the woman that I am today. A path that allowed me to remove my masculine armor and allow my feminine energy to emerge. A path that could have easily closed me off and sent me down a spiral of hypermasculine and independence, and perhaps it did for a brief moment, but ultimately a path that led me to my balance. I've got to get a hot body so that we can have revenge mentality. It's not serving you. We don't need revenge. You don't need to do it out of spite. You do it for yourself. It would have been very easy for me to go into this hypermasculine, I don't need a man kind of energy, and ultimately that would have been coming from a place of fear and a place of insecurity. A fear that if I let a man in again, he would hurt me again. The same. A fear that so many of us have. And when we see what's happening in the world and we hear all of these horrible stories, we get really scared and we want to protect ourselves. We put on this shield and we go into this state of survival, not allowing the feminine to emerge. We guard ourselves against this masculine energy to penetrate and risk us losing our straight. Guarding ourselves from our masculine energy to penetrate and risk us losing our strength. But what if you can have both? Let's start with the rise of the boss bitch era. Okay, let's set the stage. The boss bitch movement, it didn't just appear out of nowhere. It came from a collective desire for women to break free from the traditional gender roles, to take control, and to prove that we're just as capable as men in the business world. I get it. I'm right there with you. I graduated from a sports business management degree class of 80 men. I was one of 5 women all clawing for the same position in Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, Toronto Maple Leafs, Toronto Raptors. Guess who landed the job? Yours truly. I know exactly how it feels to be in the boys' club, to not be heard, to feel suppressed, to not have a voice, and to have something that you just really want to prove. But the problem? Somewhere along the way, the narrative got distorted. We've moved from the idea of empowerment to one of hyper-independence, where the focus shifted from mutual respect and collaboration to I don't need anyone, especially not a man. Now, I'm not saying that women shouldn't be independent or financially secure. We absolutely should be. But when we start framing it as a war against men or some form of revenge, like posting our success on social media to say, I make my own money, I don't need you, we're losing sight of the bigger picture. Here's where it gets really tricky. This boss bitch mentality is essentially glorifying a hypermasculine approach to success. And guess what? It's really starting to backfire. I'm really sick of watching cringe-worthy videos from hypermasculine women stuck in their masculine, claiming that they don't need men and that they can do it all alone. Of course you can. But who are you really trying to prove that to? Yes, you can do it all alone. But that doesn't mean that your soul truly wants you to. Let's talk about the science behind partnership and why women actually need connection. Okay, I know that this might be hard to hear, but let's talk about science for a second. Yes, I'm going to bring in the facts. Studies show that women who maintain healthy, supportive relationships, whether they're romantic or platonic, are more likely to experience higher levels of happiness and success in life. But why? Here's a simple truth. Humans are social creatures. It is part of our biology and psychology to thrive in connection with others. Human connection and belonging is the foundation of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We need connection. In fact, studies show that social support plays a massive role in reducing stress, improving your mental health, and increasing your resilience. I know that's a key word for y'all. So why do we choose to isolate ourselves in the name of independence? For women particularly, there is a deep psychological need for connection. We are built to nurture, to communicate, and to collaborate. The idea that we have to reject partnership or companionship in order to prove we're strong is not only counterproductive, it's damaging. We're literally going against our biology when we force ourselves into this hyper-independent mold. And let's not forget the importance of healthy partnership. A strong, equal partnership, whether it's in business or in relationships, is proven to provide a sense of security and emotional fulfillment that boosts your professional and your personal success. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The base is emotional safety and security. We long for a partner to make us feel safe, but we fear giving the control of our safety to another human. So instead, we attempt to take our own control of our own safety, and in the process, we close ourselves off from the very thing that we need most, safety and connection, and we drive our partners away. A woman in balance of her masculine and honoring her feminine is more likely to be a powerful leader. Let's talk about this. Let's take a step back and talk about feminine energy now. Now, I'm not talking about the stereotypical girly stuff, guys. I'm not a fan of pink. Y'all know this. I'm talking about the intuitive, creative, nurturing, and receptive aspects of ourselves that often get sidelined in the boss bitch narrative. A friend of mine, Garen Jones, many of you maybe know, is a leader in transformation. And when I first met him, with my baseball cap on, playing pickleball in my competitive nature, he saw the masculine walls that I had up. But he also saw the deep feminine little girl that was longing and screaming to be seen. He called it out years ago when I met him, and he's been a beacon of light in my discovery of my feminine. So to Garen, thank you. Here's something really important. You can't just hustle your way to fulfillment. True leadership comes from balance. Women who lead with their feminine energy and intuition, they tend to be more collaborative, empathetic, and emotionally intelligent. And guess what? These qualities make them better leaders and better business owners. You see, feminine energy, it's not weakness. It's a strength. A strength that allows you to make decisions with wisdom, to connect with your team on a deeper level, to bring an authentic, grounded presence to everything that you do. It is the ability to lose your ego, take ownership, and put your team first. When we overemphasize our masculine energy, the hustle, the grind, the constant proving and doing, we burn out. It's unsustainable. From someone who has burnt herself out twice and nearly ended up in the hospital with anxiety and panic disorder, trust me, the go, go, go mentality, it's not serving you. I was on meds for anti-anxiety and panic disorder. I flushed them cold turkey down the toilet, and I took back control of my life when I ended the hustle and the burnout cycle. You're hiding something. You're hiding the truth beneath, and suppressing your natural feminine essence in the process, and she is screaming to be heard. Think about some of the most successful women that you know. They're not shouting from the rooftops about how independent they are. They're moving in silence. They're keeping their personal lives private, and they were letting their work speak for itself. That's the real power. Not the look at me, I can do it all by myself energy, but the quiet, the grounded strength that comes from knowing who you are and what you bring to the table. Let me ask you this. What are you trying to prove by posting videos claiming how independent you are? Claiming that you're a boss bitch and that you don't need a man? What are you looking to seek? What validation are you trying to find? Who are you actually trying to convince? Are you trying to convince a partner that you're independent and can hold your own weight so that they should consider taking you on a date? Because maybe you're not looking for a sugar daddy? Do you think that men find that attractive? They don't. So here's what we really need. We need healing, not competition. Friends, again, I grew up watching my mother be a stay-at-home mom. She raised the three of us impeccably. House was always clean. Meals were always hot. Sports were always on time, and everything seemed peachy keen. My dad earned an above-average income owning his own business, and she stayed at home to nurture the kids, tend to the house, and he earned the income. And as a result, I witnessed on multiple occasions her ask for money with holes in her shoes because her income relied on his permission. You would think that I would have a different opinion on this topic, and I'd be over here preaching that women should be pro-boss bitch era. It all makes sense. The math adds up. You'd think it would lead me in that direction, but I'm not. If anything, it has shown me the power of healthy union. It has shown me that I have goals and dreams and aspirations, but my partners are equally as important, and together we are more powerful. It has shown me that majority of women fall submissive to traditional roles, and that's not ideal, but the opposite end of the spectrum is also not serving you. You know that in order to have children and raise a family, we technically need the man, right? I mean, of course, there's sperm banks and we can do these things on our own, but do you really want to? Is that really what you desire? Or do you desire a man or a partner on your level who appreciates your hustle and your intelligence, appreciates your contributions and your grit, allows you to excel and shine, and says, baby, I've got you? A man who provides safety for you to explore your femininity. A man who allows you to fall into your feminine essence and your nurturing heritage. A man who says, baby, I got the kids today while you're working on that project. And then the roles can switch and you can nurture him and provide for him while he chases his dreams. We're meant to be in union and in partnership, not independent, walking through this life with an ego and revenge to fight. Who are you even fighting? So many women today are using their success as a form of revenge, whether it's on an ex, a past partner, or just society in general. There's this narrative that if we make more money, if we prove we don't need anyone, it somehow makes us better. But the truth is, no amount of success will heal the pain of past hurt or make you feel truly fulfilled if you are using it as a weapon. This revenge narrative, it's toxic. It keeps us stuck in the past, holding on to anger and bitterness instead of healing and moving forward. And it keeps us in this competition with others, particularly men. But why do we need to compete? What if we chose to build each other up instead? Real success comes from healing, from partnership, and from mutual respect. It comes from being able to stand in your power without needing to tear anybody else down in the process. Real empowerment doesn't come from proving somebody wrong. It comes from knowing your own worth and letting that speak for itself. So how do we find this balance? How do we honor both our masculine and our feminine energies without falling into the extremes? Well, it starts with the understanding that we don't have to be all one or the other. We need to embody both. Masculine energy is about doing, achieving, and being assertive. Feminine energy is about being receiving, nurturing, and in our intuition. Both are powerful when they're used in harmony. The key is to know when to lean into one or the other and to allow space for both to coexist. When you lean too far into your masculine side, you risk your burnout, frustration, and isolation. But when you embrace your feminine side, you become more open, receptive, and grounded. And when these energies work together, that's where the magic happens. You become more intuitive, more strategic, and more aligned with your true purpose. Face your deep fear and learn how to build healthy relationships rather than just shitting all over men. So what does all of this mean? The boss bitch era. Is it bad? I don't know. Don't get me wrong. But the idea that it's the only way to succeed or that we need to reject partnership, femininity, or connection to prove our worth is a myth. Real power comes from embracing who we are, all of us, and finding balance between our masculine and our feminine sides. I like to give this analogy a lot. I explain this a lot in my coaching programs, the analogy of a river. I ask people, is a river masculine or is a river feminine? And most people, without much of a heartbeat, will say it's feminine. And I say, why? Well, because a river flows. Great. We think of a river as feminine because it's in its flowing essence. It's dodging around the rocks. It's moving effortlessly. It's creative and it's in flow. But without the walls of the riverbed, that water wouldn't have direction. It would actually just be a puddle. The walls of that riverbed are your masculine. We all need that structure and that guidance to allow the feminine to be in her essence and in her power. It is time to step away from the hypermasculine hustle culture. It's time to heal. It's time to build healthy relationships and to move in silence with grace and power. The most powerful women I know are the ones who know when to push and they know when to let go. They know when to lead and they know when to follow. They know when to love and they know when to receive love in return. Ladies, it's time to redefine success on our own terms, not for revenge and not for validation, but for us. Well, savages, that is all that I have for you for today's episode. I hope that this struck a chord and that it gives you something to deeply reflect on. The biggest way to help support us is to share these episodes, leave a review, share on your socials. It's what helps other people find these messages and helps us impact the world. As always, a savage will get knocked down, but they will always get back up. So keep on fighting. Peace, guys.